Over time, as a jack of all trade and a master of none, I've learned that when approaching a new subject, hobby, or field, the best way to learn about it is to research the terms and definitions. These are some of my favorite terms and definitions regarding music production, and we'll get right into it, starting with parameter. A fancy word for setting or knob. This is the little dial or value that tells your effects how much of a good or bad thing to give you. It's like the governor of your sound, making sure you don't overdo it or underdo it. Want more bass? Adjust the parameter. Want less? Same thing. Basically, everything in front of you either is a parameter or has a parameter. And if you want to really play God, you can automate the parameters. Automation. This is the musical equivalent of setting up a bunch of robots to do your dirty work. You program your mix to do what it's supposed to do without your hands on the wheel. It's like telling the volume to raise its hand, the pan to take a stroll to the left, or the reverb to take a hike. Except you don't have to babysit them. You set it up, and it happens on cue. It's a control freak's dream come true. Echo! Echo! Now here's where things start getting trippy. Echo is the sound of your audio having a panic attack, repeating itself over and over again because it's too afraid to be alone. It's the ghost of your original sound, following it down the dark hallways of your mix. You say, hello, and it says, hello, hello, like it's got nothing better to do. Reverb! Think of reverb as Echo's older, more sophisticated cousin who knows how to party but doesn't need to shout. It's the sound of your music bouncing around a room, blending into a nice warm wash instead of hello, hello, hello. It's more like hello. A smooth, lingering memory of the sound, like the aftertaste of a fine wine. Reverb is what makes your tracks sound like they're being played in a cathedral instead of a closet or a bathroom. Compression. Compression, the bouncer of the audio world. It keeps your loudmouth sounds in check, squashing the big guys and lifting up the little ones so everyone fits through the door. You got a snare that's too punchy? Compress it. A vocal that's too wimpy? Compress it. But watch out, too much compression in your mix will sound like it's been steamrolled. Balance is key, folks. Limiter. If compression is the bouncer, the limiter is the bodyguard with a strict no funny business policy. It's there to make sure nothing gets too loud. Ever. No one's sneaking past this guy. It'll squash anything that dares to peak above the set level. But beware, if you push it too hard, your track will end up flatter than a pancake with all the life sucked out of it. Distortion. This is what happens when you crank it up past the point of no return. Distortion is the sound of your audio getting so pissed off that it starts to break up and scream. It's the audio equivalent of a guitar smashing on stage. Chaotic, aggressive, and a little dangerous. But hey, sometimes a little bit of chaos is just what you need. EQ. Equalization. Think of EQ as the plastic surgery of sound. You want more bass? Boost it. You got too much treble? Cut it. It's all about sculpting your sound, making sure everything's in the right place and nothing's sticking out like a sore thumb. But remember, just like with surgery, too much EQ and your track starts to look like a bad facelift, unnatural and overdone. Filter. Filter. This is the audio equivalent of putting your sound through a sieve, letting the good stuff through and leaving the rest behind. You want that high-end sparkle? Use a high-pass filter. Got too much low-end rumble? Cut it out with a low-pass filter. Filters are like your sound's personal trainer, trimming the fat and toning the muscles. Sidechain. Sidechain is when your kick drum steps up and tells everything else to get out of the way. Now. It's like giving one sound the power to push others down in the mix, creating a pulsing effect that's as addictive as it is hypnotic. The kick's in charge, and everything else better listen. Phaser. This is when your sound decides it's time to take a little trip through space and come out on the other side just a bit different. A phaser takes your audio, splits it in two, and then messes with one half just enough to create a swirling, sweeping effect. It's like your sound is being hypnotized, only it's taking you along for the ride. So there you have it, some of my favorite terms and definitions. They're not just my favorite, they're the basic, they're what you really need. They're the most important if you're starting out with music production or other fields that are similar. But anyway, that's that. And don't stop there though, like go find a big long list of terms and definitions and read it in your own voice. And if you make any music, share your links in my comments or message me or something, because I'd love to hear music that nobody else is really hearing.